friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. If you're new here, my name is Heather and I run a small handmade business called Lemon Tree Corner where I make purses and bags and project bags for makers like you. Welcome back to the channel. This week in the studio we are going to start cutting that fabric for the Hawaiian quilt. I'm very excited to do that. My cutting mat is actually the same exact size as the fat quarters, so I have to fold them over. So the only thing I'm worried about is that when I fold over fabric, it isn't exactly straight on the fold. So that's kind of a minor thing. I know when I'm sewing them together, if they don't quite match up, I have a little leeway there with the seam allowance that I can get them as close as possible. But I just don't want the whole quilt to turn out wonky. So that's my fear going into this. My other fear going into this is that once I cut these squares, they're cut, and then I'm kind of committed. I'm committed to the quilt the way that it looks. My sister was talking to me about the quilt and thinking, well, what if you did some white strips or solid colors in between or a border? And that's just not what I had envisioned for the quilt. And I do have enough squares as it is now with the fabric that I bought in Hawaii. So I don't necessarily want to add anything or change anything or make it more difficult, because if I had a border around everything, then that's just more fabric I have to cut. I have to find a fabric that's going to go with everything. It's just going to make it more complicated. So I'm going to go ahead, commit, cut the fabric, and see this project through the way that I had originally envisioned it. So that's what we're doing this week. We're also going to be working on the Moroccan blanket. I swear, I promise, we will work on the Moroccan blanket this week. It's on the list. It's on the to-do list for a long time, but I'm ready to go. I have the time to work on it this week. And then I'm also going to share with you the fish that we were looking at Petsmart to purchase. There's also a local pet store literally down the street from me, so we're going to go check them out too and see what they have. I would like to support local versus Petsmart necessarily, but all the videos I'm watching say that they get their fish from the same source anyway, so I don't think it really matters which one I go for, but would like to support a local business if I can, especially as I see them every time I come in and out of the neighborhood and wonder how they're doing. And the pandemic and everything. So hopefully they're afloat, so to speak, no pun intended, and doing well, and I can support them. So that's what we have going on this week. The only other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is I was watching Kung Fu Panda. I haven't seen it in years. It's so cute, but it's also very meaningful. And I was thinking about all the lessons in it about mindfulness and being in the present moment. And the turtle, I can't remember his name, but he just has inner peace. And even with all the stuff going on and the worries about the guy coming to steal the scroll and all of that, he is just peaceful. He's at peace with whatever happens. And it's such a wonderful thing to see in a character, especially in a children's story. But also important for us to remember. And it doesn't matter how chaotic the world is or what's going on, we can be at peace within ourselves. That's a decision that we can make. That's something we can work on. I'd really like to get back. I know I stopped doing the coloring for a while, but I really want to get back into the coloring, meditation. Part of the reason for the fish is to be able to just sit there and enjoy the fish and be in the present moment and give my mind a break, because I ruminate a lot. I'm a very anxious person. So that really helps me. And the quilt and all of that, all of my crafts really help me stay grounded and give me something to do, something for my mind to chew on rather than replaying stuff over and over again. So if you're like that, I invite you to find something this week to do that's meditative. That could be watering your plants in the backyard. It could be just going on a walk. It could be putting your feet in soil or grass or sand. It's a very grounding thing to do. So I wish peace for all of you and to just stay in the present moment, because The past is the past. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change anything that's happened in the past. And the future hasn't happened yet, so you have no control over that either. The only thing you really have control over in this world is how you react to things and what you do with your time. And sometimes I know it doesn't feel like you have control over that either, but you really do. And you can cultivate mindfulness, you can cultivate present moments in your life. So I invite you to think about that, to kind of check yourself all week and like, am I in the present right now? Because if I'm not in the present right now, then I need to find a way to focus and get there. And even if you're just in the present moment and peaceful for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, like try and build that up and give yourself that time, because it really does grow exponentially as you do it, and it's easier to get back to. So if you have a daily practice of something that is peaceful or turns your brain off, then it's easier to get back to that in moments of stress. So that's a really good practice for us to fall into, especially, this day and age. I'm sure it was always like this in history too, but just having that time. And I know for a lot of us that the crafts are our time to do that. It's our meditative time. To just do a stitch over and over again, or to sew, or to dream of the next big project, lay out a quilt, whatever it is. One thing I like to do is on YouTube they have these ambient things. So it's either like hours of rain falling or streams, like a babbling brook going or something like that. And I have a whole playlist of those that I listen to. Sometimes when I'm at work, I will listen to those. They also have these things called binaural beats, which is really cool, in the solfeggio system. Let me look that up. Yes, the solfeggio frequencies is a series of frequencies that elicit different responses in your body. So it kind of vibrates with different parts of your body. It's really interesting if you look it up. I can put a link down to it, but certain things are good for anxiety, certain frequencies are good for relaxation, certain frequencies are good for mind clarity. So those are really great to listen to. I especially like to do that if I'm doing a stressful project at work or something where I really have to focus and it's all about getting the details right. I'll put on something like that to just it's just working in the background on my brain. So I can put a link to that. I can also make a playlist, which would be nice. These are all on YouTube. I don't know if there's anything like that on Spotify, but I can do that as well. And that's a good segue to my Moments of Zen videos that I'm going to be putting together for you. So I promised this a while ago when we did our Oregon trip in April, but we had these nice forest drives or watching the waves crash on the coast and that kind of thing. And Oregon, it was really windy, so I'll probably put a little soft music behind them. But I just wanted to come up with some 2 to 10 minute videos that you can watch that are just very peaceful, and you can watch them and they'll either have music or the real sound of the waves, and you can listen to those whenever you're feeling stressed. So I would love to give you that gift. And as always, I encourage you to hit that like button, comment on the video, subscribe if you like my videos. I post every Saturday, so it's a nice Saturday chill time for you to do your knitting or crochet in front of the TV and just spend time with me in the studio. Anything you do that interacts with the channel tells YouTube that people are interested in the content, and it also puts me in front of like-minded people like you, because what YouTube does is it looks at who you're subscribed to and who other people are subscribed to, and if you're subscribed to similar things or liking similar things, then it will introduce me, it will suggest my video to people who watch the same kind of content that you watch. So I'd love to do that and grow this channel and have more of us. We've got 140 subscribers. subscribers. Yay! So we're already growing leaps and bounds above where we were last month. So I would really appreciate it if you could help me out and do that, as I need to find my audience. I need you guys to find me. Okay, so it's time to go in the studio and cut this fabric. I hope I do it correctly. My confidence is shot after what happened last week. So I really hope I'm cutting everything correctly and I'm not ruining all this fabric. Okay, let's get started.
Gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. Gonna let the past be filled with smoke, and I will try to fix what has been broken, and take this weight off my shoulders, cause I know yesterday ain't coming back. I'm gonna let the past stay in the cold. I will listen to the ocean, let its unsaid words be spoken, and I'll let my mind be carried by the waves. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light.
Listen to the midnight radio. Listen to the midnight radio. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let it go. A gentle breeze, the night's got a fever, to the moon and back, playing loud in the speakers. You and me, can I marry you right away? Oh yeah. Listen to the midnight radio. Listen to the midnight radio. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let it go. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let it go. Listen to the midnight radio. Listen to the midnight radio. We can drive through the night. Oh, don't wanna wait all my life. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let it go. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let it go. Don't wanna wake up, I might be dreaming. I might be dreaming. You're stirring things up, my heart is beating. My heart is beating. I won't let go, I can't say no. My heart is yours, so I say here we go. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, and I keep spinning. You see right through me, do that to me, so let's do this, baby. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. Not used to do this, it ain't my style. It ain't my style. You see right through me, I don't wanna hide. No, I don't wanna hide. I won't let go, I can't say no. My heart is yours, so I say here we go. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, and I keep spinning. wanna wake up, I might be dreaming.
So one thing I really love about Petsmart is that they have these labels which tell you which of the fish go together, like if they're a tropical community fish or if they're a little bit more of an aggressive fish, so you know which fish to put in a tank with each other. And I remember a few of these were ones that I had before. I had one of the Blackmore goldfish. I had the bala shark or two, but I remember they were very aggressive with my other fish. So I won't be getting those ones again, even though I really like them. There they are. And I really want another Plecostomus. Those are the bottom feeder fish that clean everything up. They're really cool. There they are right there. They're just really neat. They're kind of like catfish. They just sit in the bottom and they suck all the debris up, which is good. But also on the labels, it tells you what size tank they should go in, beginner, intermediate, advanced fish keeper to take care of them. So just a lot of good information for me to pick out fish with. I think I'm going to have to go with the community fish just because they're all going to get along better. At this point, I didn't remember what size tank I had or even what decorations were in them. It was still in the garage. So here I am looking at all the clearance decorations. It turns out I had the sunken ship. I totally forgot what I had and everything else that I needed to go in there. So I don't really need any more furniture for my tank, but it was fun to look around, especially at the SpongeBob stuff. So, I mean, I guess if you have a kid, a SpongeBob SquarePants decoration in your tank for Bikini Bottom would be very cute. So I had fun looking at all of these. Well, that's it for this week, friends. Thanks for joining me. We had a lot accomplished this week, so let's take a look at where we got. We have cut all the fabric out. Yay! So I have all the squares for my quilt cut out. I have them all labeled with the number of the photo that I'm using so I can line them all up in the grid. I'm very glad that I did all the measuring and the math before we cut these. I would have felt really, really much more stupid and really bad if I had cut all of this out beforehand. So thank you for laughing at my expense last week as we figured it all out. Have any of you done that before? Like, have you made a quilt? What's your quilt planning process? I just feel like this whole thing has been really difficult to kind of envision in my brain and then put down. I know if I was doing an actual pattern, it would tell me how much to cut of what. I figured the little squares would be easier, but it's just been hard to kind of plot them all out and think about where they're all going and envision them going next to each other. So now the hard part comes next of lining them all up with a grid and coming up with a whole row that I can sew together. Mainly because I don't have anywhere in my house I can actually lay out that width of squares. So I guess I could start on the bed and lay them out and maybe do them in two sections. So do half the width and half the width and sew those together. That might work. Also, these feel very flimsy to me, and I know that's because I normally make bags that have layers of interfacing to kind of bulk up the fabric for the bag so that the bag is more durable and more sturdy. So this is really weird to me to just have these little flimsy floppy squares. I did use my Best Press, but I watered down. I use like a half Best Press, half water solution when I normally iron all my fabrics, just to give them a little bit of oomph, a little bit of starch. Now I'm wondering if I should have just starched all of these before I started. So I did kind of pre-shrink them because I sprayed them all with the spray, and they do kind of shrink a little bit when you spray them and then iron them. I'm just wondering if I did that enough or if I should have done more of that. So those are kind of my regrets going into this and just thinking of how am I logistically going to sew all these together. But other than that, I feel pretty ready to go. Looking at the 5-inch squares, I feel like there's enough of a design where once I start putting them all together, as busy as it looks in the grid, I think it'll turn out okay in the finished product. So now it's just a matter of going online and picking out a backing fabric that's going to go with that. And then, while I'm sure my little Juki would be able to handle me putting together a quilt sandwich and quilting all of this, I've never done anything like that. And I can stitch in the ditch between the squares, but I just feel like this is such a big quilt. It's a Cow King quilt. So I'm going to look into hiring a long arm quilter to help me with that and putting that all together. So if you have any suggestions, if you've used a long arm quilter before and can recommend somebody, preferably United States Southwest area, just a little easier to get it back and forth or ship it back and forth, that would be really helpful because I don't know where to start. The only two long arm quilters I know of are the two that Fat Quarter Shop talks about in their live streams. So I can start with them, but any suggestions of anybody good that you've used that's in the American Southwest would be wonderful. So leave them in the comments below if you have any. Other than that, what we were working on this week is the Moroccan blanket. Yay, we're back to the Moroccan blanket. Okay, here's where we're at now. We have the main big square, and now we're adding a border to the whole thing. So what they had me do is do 4 of these in between, and then I think I'm making some squares to go around the corner here. And then, oh, I've got one more to do. I thought I did all 4 of them. I've got one more to do. Okay, so you got these squares, and then there's like a corner, like 4 squares that are going to meet up in the corner there that I have to do still. So doing this was a little frustrating, but it's like a little color work block. But I like the way it turned out. I feel like, ooh, that's something I could use for a baby blanket or something, right? Like I like that pattern if I had a 3-color repeat for something in the future, or even a scarf. That might be nice for a scarf, although I'd want it going short ways and not long ways. But there's an idea. I do have that yarn that I bought that is kind of thinner than I'm used to working with. That would be interesting for that because it is 3 colors, and I really like that 3-color repeat. It's a nice pattern. So I'm excited about that and getting back into the blanket, and I just have to let go of the judgment. I always feel like a beginner when I'm watching the videos, constantly rewinding, playing it over again, not really understanding. I have to count everything. It's just not the crocheting that I'm used to doing. I'm used to doing really easy stuff. So I just have to give myself a little slack there and know that, you know, however this turns out, whether it turns out good or not, it's a learning experience. So I just have to get back into that beginner mindset for this. And we had my winner contact me, so everything's off to her. Congratulations, Christy. And I hope you have many wonderful moments of making with your project bag. She chose the pink and green one. So everything else is up in the shop right now if you're interested in purchasing it. I know a lot of you are in the UK area, and I don't know that I have international shipping on my website. So that's something I'm going to look at this week and figure out. I think I just started with US shipping just to wrap my head around the whole thing. But I mean, if I have a lot of viewers in the UK, I think it would be great if you'd actually be able to buy something from the shop. So I'll look into that and adding that to my shipping. And other than that, I think that's it for this week. So join me next week when we get to actually sewing the quilt together. And I'm also coming up with plans for Christmas in September. And I don't know if that's going to be... I was thinking of combining Vlogmas with Vlogtober, and then I could do Vlogmas in Vlogtober and kind of get on that bandwagon of doing extra videos in October, and maybe doing the advent calendar then and doing the extra videos. I wouldn't do a video a day. I can't handle that. It's too much with a full-time job. But I could definitely do a couple of videos a week, or like every 3rd day or something like that, to get us through October. And that would be great because I already have that content. And then we also have the Christmas blanket, which I'm behind on as well. So we could work on that at the same time. So I kind of like that idea. So look for that in either September or October. And we'll catch up on that stuff and get going on Christmas. So thank you for joining me this week, everybody. As always, if you can hit the like or subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and any interaction that you have with the channel, liking and commenting or subscribing, helps grow the channel. It helps tell the algorithm to suggest my content to other people. So really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. See you next week. Love you. Bye.